35-year-old Thomas Allen Jackson is behind bars for stabbing his friend. At just before 1 a.m. on Tuesday the 10th of December, police responded to an apartment along the 3100 block of 3rd Avenue South in Minneapolis, Minnesota on reports of a disturbance. When officers arrived, they found the victim laying on the ground in a pool of blood. He had a cut to his upper abdomen with organs coming out of his body. Officers were able to get his organs back inside his body and took him to the hospital, where he needed 30 staples. Thomas was arrested at the scene. Thomas was yelling that he stabbed this dude because he murdered his mother, and he needed payback. The victim told police while being taken out of the apartment that Thomas, his best friend, was the only other person in the apartment and had stabbed him while he was sleeping. Police recovered a large kitchen knife as well as a sponge from the sink in the kitchen. The next day, Thomas told police that he and his friend blacked out from drinking. He remembered getting into an argument with the victim, but could not remember how the stabbing happened. He told police that "I snapped, and you know everything." On Wednesday the 11th of December, the victim provided a statement to officers after his intubation tube was removed and he was able to speak. He said he didn't remember falling asleep on the couch, but denied that he was drinking and instead had smoked marijuana. He told officers that Thomas had been talking crazy all night and said things such as "I'm going to kill somebody." The last thing the victim remembered was waking up on the floor in a pool of blood. Thomas was charged with second-degree assault with a weapon causing great bodily harm and remains at the Hennepin County Jail without bond. A babysitter is behind bars after a 4-year-old boy almost died after being attacked by 2 dogs. At around 2 p.m. on Friday the 13th of December, authorities responded to a home in Walkerton, Virginia on reports of a child bitten by a dog. When deputies arrived, medics were already on scene treating the young boy and transported him to the local hospital. The 4-year-old victim sustained substantial lacerations and puncture wounds to most of his body. Their injuries were initially considered life-threatening. The King and Queen County Sheriff's Office said that the child has recovered, but remains hospitalized at this time. The homeowner and babysitter Mary Lynn Sowards was arrested on Wednesday the 18th of December and charged with felony child abuse and neglect. She remains out on bond and will be arraigned on the 6th of January. Authorities said that a German Shepherd and a Catahoula were captured and taken to the regional animal shelter and are deeming them dangerous dogs. The case remains under investigation and further charges are possible. A 20-year-old woman is behind bars after a disturbing video surfaced showing her abusing her infant daughter. The video taken on the 16th of December showed Cloe Workman spitting on a baby's face, pushing the baby down by the head and squirting dish soap into the child's mouth. She then sent the video to the child's father. On Thursday the 19th of December, Cloe was arrested at her apartment in Loveland, Ohio, and booked into the Hamilton County Jail on charges of child endangerment and domestic violence. She appeared in court on Friday the 20th of December. The judge ordered her to wear a 24-hour monitoring device and to remain under house arrest until her next trial date on the 6th of January. A little girl who's just over a year old is now safe with her mother's grandparents. An employee with the Montgomery Youth Detention Facility in Alabama has been arrested and charged with child sex crimes. On Friday the 20th of December, 35-year-old Labradford Jamell Armistad was arrested and charged with 7 counts of first-degree sodomy relating to the sexual assault of a juvenile victim in his custody. Labradford remains held at the Montgomery County Detention Facility without bond. 37-year-old Sarah Yvonne Wright has been arrested after she struck a teenage boy who was crossing the road with a truck, covered her license plate and sped off. The incident occurred at just before 4 p.m. on Thursday the 19th of December at the intersection of Gage Avenue and Noah Street in Deltona, Florida. The victim, a 16-year-old boy, was riding his scooter home from Pine Ridge High School when he was struck by a black Chevrolet Silverado as he was using the crosswalk. The teenager fell to the ground, resulting in a serious laceration to the back of his head, as well as an injury to his arm, but he remained alert and conscious after the incident. A witness reported that she was checking her mail nearby when she heard the crash. She told investigators that the suspect, later identified as Sarah Wright, exited her truck after the crash and checked on the boy before she went to a vehicle and covered her license plate with paper and tape, but the witness still managed to see the first character of her tag. A neighborhood ring camera also captured the truck fleeing the scene. The victim and witness were able to provide a detailed description of the suspect. Officials were then able to locate the suspect vehicle captured on a nearby license plate reader camera within minutes. Sarah was found in Flagler County and taken into custody with assistance from Florida Highway Patrol and the Flagler County Sheriff's Office. She was booked into the Flagler County Jail on charges of leaving the scene of a crash involving injury and driving with a suspended license. She was released the next day on a $7,000 bond. The teenage victim required staples for the laceration and treatment for his arm injury, but is expected to make a full recovery. Two parents have been charged after the father beat a child and the mother failed to intervene or report the incident. The incident occurred on the 7th of December at the family home in Kissimmee, Florida. 42-year-old Lance Eugene Rachel was angry about a couch cushion being displaced and accused the victim of lying. Authorities said that Lance maliciously punished the child by screaming obscenities and physically abusing the victim over the course of 28 minutes. The victim was struck with a belt more than 50 times and was choked and called several disparaging names and other obscenities. At one point, Lance threatened to break the child's jaw. Authorities said that some of the event was captured on in-home surveillance cameras. On Monday, the 16th of December, detectives interviewed Lance and he allegedly admitted to the assault. He was arrested and charged with aggravated child abuse and battery by strangulation. He was booked into the Osceola County Jail without bond. That same day, 35-year-old Kimberly Rachel was questioned and confirmed the incident happened. She was arrested and charged with failing to report the known child abuse. A 19-year-old man is behind bars after allegedly stabbed a Lyft driver, stole his car and led police on a chase. At around 5:45 p.m. on Monday the 16th of December, authorities were called to the Legends at Legacy apartment complex at 3700 Legacy Drive in Frisco, Texas for a reported robbery. Responding officers found the victim, 25-year-old Delava Burke, with cuts to his hands and a deep gash to his neck. Police said that despite his wounds, the victim was able to tell them that a customer attacked him from behind and slashed his throat with a knife and attempted to choke him with wire. Authorities said that the suspect stole Delava's Toyota Camry and left him in the apartment building's parking lot. A woman nearby assisted Delava and called 911 to report the incident. The victim was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. During the investigation, detectives identified 19-year-old Antwain Williams as a suspect. At just after 9 p.m. that night, patrolling officers spotted the stolen vehicle near the intersection of University Drive and Gee Road and attempted to pull the driver over, but he sped away in an attempt to evade police. Police said that Antwain crashed and attempted to flee on foot, but was eventually apprehended. Antwain's charged with aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon and evading arrest. He was also arrested for an outstanding warrant for allegedly encouraging a child to perform a sex act. Antwain remains held at the Denton County Jail. Delava has since been released from hospital, but remains bedridden with stitches across his neck and bandages covering deep defensive wounds to his hands. A TikToker has been arrested after filming himself spraying bug killer on food in a Walmart store and boasting to police about his prank videos. The incident occurred at around 8:30 p.m. on Thursday the 19th of December, when the suspect, later identified as 27-year-old Charles Smith, entered a Walmart store along South Stapley Drive in Mesa, Arizona, intending to film pranks for social media. He then grabbed a can of bug killer without paying for it. Authorities said that Charles then sprayed the pesticide on various produce items, including vegetables, fruit and rotisserie chickens that were available for purchase. Charles filmed his face, the pesticide can and the act of spraying. He later posted the video online. Through investigative means, detectives identified Charles as a suspect. Police made contact with him on Saturday the 21st of December, and he voluntarily turned himself in. During an interview, Charles admitted to stealing the pesticide he used in the clips from the store. Charles is a TikToker who goes by the username Wolfie Carletti and has over 345,000 followers. Authorities said that Charles is a self-proclaimed troll and that he told police that he makes between $6,000 to $10,000 per month filming his prank videos. He describes himself as a tycoon creator and a supreme villain. Charles was arrested and charged with felony-level poisoning and misdemeanor-level criminal damage, in addition to misdemeanor charges of endangerment and theft. Walmart confirmed that all attainted products were removed from the shelves. Other videos posted online by Charles include him seemingly mixing in bacon and eggs in a stranger's load at a laundromat, as well as locking people inside a different grocery store. A gay couple convicted of sexually abusing their 2 adopted sons will spend the rest of their lives behind bars. On the 19th of December, 36-year-old Zachary Zulock and 34-year-old William Zulock appeared at the Walton County Court in Georgia and were each sentenced to 100 years in prison without the possibility of parole. Early this year, both men pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including aggravated child molestation, aggravated sodomy, and sexual exploitation of children. The boys, 2 brothers who are now 12 and 10 years old, were adopted years earlier from a Christian special needs agency by the Zulocks. The Zulocks raised them under the guise of a happy home in affluent Oxford, Georgia, and would further deceive the public by advocating for human rights. Zachary worked in banking, and William was a government employee. The couple regularly forced the boys to have sex with them and would film the abuse. Evidence showed they even bragged about the abuse to friends, with one telling police that Zachary once sent a Snapchat message reading, "I'm gonna fuck my son tonight, stand by," along with images of the boy being abused. They also used social media to pimp the boys out to at least 2 local men in a depraved pedophile sex ring. The couple was arrested in 2022 after an alleged member of the ring was caught downloading child porn, and he told the investigators how the Zulocks were making porn with young boys living in their house. Walton County District Attorney Randy McGinley said that these 2 defendants truly created a house of horror and put their extreme dark desires above everything and everyone else. However, the depth of the defendants' depravity, which is as deep as it gets, is not greater than the resolve of those who fought for justice and the strength of the victims in this case. The resolve I've seen from these 2 young victims over the past 2 years is truly inspiring, he added. 35-year-old Karley Edwards has been charged after a 5-year-old daughter, Wadee Edwards, died in a car crash earlier this year. The incident occurred at around 6:10 a.m. on the 22nd of April. Wadee was a passenger in a GMC Yukon that left the road and struck a ditch before it overturned into a creek along Highway 79 near Peyton Lane in Blount County, Alabama. The girl did not have a seatbelt on at the time of the crash and was pronounced dead at the scene. On Thursday the 19th of December, after months of investigating, Karley was arrested and charged with criminally negligent homicide. She was booked into the Blount County Jail, but has since been released after posting a $25,000 bond.